I wanted to talk today about a budget-friendly food plot plan. And, you know, sometimes it's a little controversial because you ask yourself, is there really such thing as a budget-friendly food plot plan? Well, there is, but obviously you're not using big equipment to rip up the soil. So a lot of people, they'll have a throw and grow product, a food plot seed, and they think, well, we'll throw some seed out here in an area like this. You know, right now we're standing on crusted snow. We're waiting for this dang snow to melt right here. But if you kind of look through here, look how deep that snow is down there. It's probably a good 6-8 inches deep. And doesn't matter though, we could create a great food plot here, and you can see all the brush around here. This area right over there, you see the corn planted, we had screening on this end, and then we had tillage radish that we used. We did that, and I'm not going to talk about, that's not budget friendly over there. This is going to be budget friendly, what I'll talk about here. But over there, we started with a chainsaw, a lot of back work. We had an area like this times 30, meaning we probably had 100 trees, small trees that were anywhere up to 6 inches in diameter, gray dogwood clusters, briars, that we chainsawed out the trees, got them off. We brush hogged the entire thing down. Then we sprayed it again, sprayed it again. I know a lot of chemicals, but you have to open up the ground when you're clearing something like that. We can't have weed concern. And then we had Brandon from First Choice go in there with this nice corn planter and planted corn in that same spot that hadn't been a field for 25 years plus. It used to be pasture long ago. But we got all that timber out of there, mowed it down, killed it, and then we ended up with a great cornfield over there, and it was about 1.25 acres. It took a lot of work, took a lot of money and expense because we used a tractor with a brush hog, we used chainsaw, and of course we used Brandon, had him come out here and plant that all, drill it in with a very expensive planting machine. However, I've planted a lot of areas, including back on the 67 acres back here. Dylan and I shot a video out there before where this is the area we're gonna plant a food plot in, and we planted a food plot. And we did that with a brush hog. We mowed some stuff down, we chainsawed it out. But after that, we sprayed it. And what I found in an area like this, done this many times over. Now, if you don't like chemicals, then please leave, because there's no other way you're going to plant a food plot in an area like this without chemicals other than using a tractor and a disc. And if you don't want to use chemicals, I'd suggest that you rip up this ground 4 to 5 weeks apart, at least 3 times during the summer, and then plant in the fall. And guess what? You're still going to have weed concerns, but you wouldn't use any chemicals that way. However, come into an area like this, backpack sprayer I've used, or an ATV sprayer, so you can go as low as and as cheap as a backpack sprayer. But you can spray this area out with just 2 quarts per acre of glyphosate. Now, if you want to add 1 pint per acre of 2,4-D, you can do that. And how many ounces per gallon is that? Well, you tell me how many gallons it takes to cover an acre with what you're spraying with. You know, a handheld sprayer, you're going to probably need 20 to 25 gallons to cover an acre. You're going to go through that much spray because it's just 1 nozzle, very ineffective. If you have a UTV sprayer that has 9 nozzles on it or 7, you probably would get away with anywhere from 10 to 10.5 gallons per acre. You figure out what your coverage rate is first, and then add the appropriate amount of chemical, meaning it's always 2 quarts per acre of glyphosate, 1 pint per acre of 2,4-D. You wait for this area to green up. Weeds are 10, 12 inches tall. Hit it with that initial, just start with glyphosate, 2 quarts per acre. Spray it. Around here, that'd be early May. You could plan on it, early May. Maybe cut some of these trees down with a handsaw if you really want it budget friendly. You don't even need to use a chainsaw, just open up this area. Then you follow up about 4 to 6 weeks later. So let's say mid-June, you come in here and you spray that with your glyphosate and 2,4-D blend. Some of those broadleafs in the spring that were covered up by grasses or taller broadleafs will now get that full spray. You're getting 2,4-D on it, and that'll kill out just about any weed you have. And then you're looking towards the end of July and you're spraying this one more time with 2 quarts per acre of glyphosate, and that's when you have your food plot, because it'll be down to the soil by then. All that thatch will be gone, and that's why your first spraying is the most important. You want to spray this area when the weeds are 10 to 12 inches high, 8 inches, warm weather, you get a great kill, but you're limiting future weed debris. That's critical. If you wait till June for your first spraying around here, these weeds are going to be belly high, chest high. All that thatch now has to disappear before you spread seed into it in early August. Not going to happen in most cases. So in this area right here, I want to get this cleaned up before spring green up. Just use a handsaw if you have to, if you want to make it really cheap. And then I'm going to spray the chemicals on here that I need to open up the soil. And by the time I get into end of July and I have that third spraying, the same day I spray, that third spraying, if I want to put brassica in here, clover, we also have a brassica clover blend, I can throw that down. I usually throw it down first, and then I drive all over it and spray whatever is remaining. If there's not a lot of weeds, I might only go with 1 quart per acre of glyphosate at that time. But bottom line is, I'll get great seed to soil contact. The soil does not have to be worked up. You don't even have to use a Cultipacker, ATV tires. I like running our Packer Max over it. That ensures better seed to soil contact. But bottom line is, you could do this all with hand. You could do it all with a handheld sprayer, backpack sprayer. You don't even need a rake. And then we use the Earthway Model 2750. It's about a $50 throwaway bag spreader, meaning if you're just planting food plots the size of this, let's say 1/10 of an acre, even if you planted 1 acre a year and you sprayed it off to get any kind of fertilizer out of there each year, it probably lasts you 10 years because you're not really covering much. We use handheld spreaders like that. With the Earthway, we might do that with 18 acres, some years 20 acres, and in that case, I have about 4 on hand. We can expect 1 to last about a year. And when we have backup, we have other people that can help. The bottom line is, this area right here, you can put those small seeds on around August 1st. That'd be in our area, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, New York, Pennsylvania. But then when you get into Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee, Arkansas, maybe over to Oklahoma, those southerly areas, over into North Carolina, South Carolina, you probably plant that brassica blend or clover, smaller seeds like that, chicory, bird's foot trefoil, alfalfa. That can all go more towards the end of August, depending on your rainy period. And then what you're doing about 4 or 5 weeks after that, if you leave half of a plot open, then you can put your cereal grains in there. I like using 100 pounds of peas per acre, rye, oats. We have our fall power greens. We try to slant that fall power greens to no-till applications so you get better germination with the hairy vetch, peas, a really slight amount of oats or rye in there, late planted buckwheat. All those do really well by just throwing it on the soil. Peas would be the ones that take the most germination, but they're very hardy and they take the most rain to germinate. Bottom line is, you can make food plots very, very easy. We have blends, most of our blends, especially those fall blends, you can throw right on the soil, whether it's our clover, our brassica, or our fall power greens. Those are all great for throwing on the soil, getting some decent rain on it. But bottom line is, it doesn't take much to start this plot. You know, what's the cost of a backpack sprayer and chemicals to plant a ½ acre? I mean, literally, in chemicals to plant a ½ acre, you're probably $30 at the most, maybe $20. Your seed for a ½ acre could be 50 bucks, 60 bucks with shipping, $40, something like that. And then fertilizer, you might put 1 bag on it, half a bag, somewhere around there. So really you're talking under $100 to get your food plot in, and that's with spray, seed, fertilizer, and then your cost of the backpack sprayer would be on top of that. If you really want to get expensive, use a ATV sprayer and an ATV like we do. But bottom line is, we've done a lot of this kind of creating for food plots, and been doing it actually going all the way back into the early 2000s. So it's a very effective plan. I've actually done that in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, many different properties, many different clients do this because they don't have the resources, the big ag equipment. You know, sometimes people talk about, I don't want to use chemicals. Well, then just don't plant a food plot, you know, in a case like this, because you're not going to rip up this on your own. Now you could rent a rototiller, but you're gonna have to rent a rototiller and rototill this, and you got to plan on this. Do it at least 3 times, 4 to 5 weeks apart, and then do the same planting at the end. But know you're going to have more weeds, and weeds are the death of all food plot. Don't believe anybody online that tells you that weeds are good in a food plot. Yeah, during the summer, might be okay. It offers a little bit more diversity. There's lots of weeds that deer will eat and readily consume. But when it gets into fall, all those weeds die and they take volume out of your food plots. And I'm not talking just a little volume. I'm talking they'll turn a 10-acre field into 1 acre because 50% weeds limits the growth of the actual forage, takes nutrients to grow that forage, and you end up with 1/10, not half, not 3/4, but 10% of the actual volume of your intended. So there's a lot of people out there that have weedy plots, 10 acres, that don't know how to manage their weeds. they're taking 10 acres of food plots in the fall with 1 acre of food, and that's not going to cut it, guys. A deer doesn't want to stand and move throughout 10 acres to feed in a little feeding circle that they could have done on a high quality food plot that's just 1 acre. Because that 1 acre is concentrated food. You don't want to have that same amount of food spread out over 10 acres. But bottom line is, take control of your weeds. Yeah, you can come in here with a rototiller, rent it 3 times, make a food plot, but you're still going to have weeds to take away from your food plot. So that's your choice on that. Or have an expensive tractor come in, rent it from a local rental place. We have them at like Nelson Ag in Viroqua. You can rent a tractor, tiller combination, work this all up 3 or 4 times during the summer and then plant. And on this slant right here, you know what's going to happen? We have big rain. We're going to have a lot of this topsoil right down there because we're on a slant. So that's something we can't do here. We don't have the luxury of just ripping this up 3 times with a big tractor and a disc and letting it sit here for the summer and be susceptible to erosion. We don't want to do that to our property. We already have corn growing on our land from the neighbors that use deep tillage practices. So we don't want to do that ourselves and destroy our soil. So you have some choices there, but that's a very cheap way outside of, again, with food, fertilizer, or food plot seed, fertilizer, chemicals. It's gonna be less than $100 plus the cost of a backpack sprayer. So a very cheap way to get a highly effective and quality food plot growing on your land the deer will actually be attracted to. And we've expanded that to an ATV sprayer, and I've done at least 18 acres of that in 1 year alone. A lot of spreading, 7,000 pounds of lime fertilizer and seed through a hand spreader out of my hands only to put that down in the past. 2006, I think, was one of the biggest years of that in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, or in Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. So bottom line is, you can get a great food plot this year, very cheap, but it depends on what choices you want to make, how you want to get that in there. Pretty easy to get one going, or you could expand it to like that 1.25 acres over there. You know, we had great success with that, but we used a lot of machinery to do so, a lot of back-breaking labor, but we got it done. There's different ways to skin a cat. This is one way to get it done right this season. Now, I don't know if you've checked out our main website lately, whitetailhabitatsolutions.com, but we've really had a lot going on, including hats, books, our web class, and certainly our new seed company, WHS Wildlife Blends. When you click on seed on our site, it'll take you right to our brand new site for the seed company. We have all 12 blends available. So check it all out though. I encourage you, I appreciate you checking it out. Whether you buy anything or not, really appreciate you visiting the site and seeing what's going on, and continue to watch because we have big things coming later this year.